Today we begin step 5, the 5th step on our step sermon series, message series, the steps that Christians have taken throughout our 2,000-year history to become saints, to be incredible disciples, to really go to the next level in terms of being faithful followers of Jesus. These aren't gimmicks, these are just the tried and true steps that ordinary men and women have taken to become extraordinary disciples. So as a recap, the first step was examining where we are right now with our walk with God, and I hope all of us have done that. And if you haven't done that, all of this information is up on the bookshelf in the narthex. The steps are all laid out, and there's information sheets if you want to catch up. Step 1 was just to evaluate our life. Where am I now in my walk with God? 2, the second step, is having a relationship with the sacraments and prayer. The next step, the third step, was engaging in ministry and in service. All the saints do this. The fourth step was engaging in community life. Jesus says we're not meant to be alone. We're not meant to be alone. I need the support of a community. I need to be fed by communal life of the brothers and the sisters of faith. And that leads us today to step 5. The fifth step in becoming a saint is tithing and giving. Tithing and giving. I know some of you just went, oh, really? I'm not going to be asking you to be giving today in the sense. I just want to explain to you this is a step that all of the saints have gone through. All the saints live. This sense of I need to look at and examine what's my relationship with the possessions that I have in my life. And that's really at the heart of this step. As we heard in the gospel today, what's my relationship with possessions, with worldly things? There is nothing wrong with possessions. There is nothing wrong with money until it becomes wrong. There are nothing wrong with possessions until possessions become a problem. There's nothing wrong with money until money becomes a problem. So I can't draw a line in the sand and say possessions are good until here. It's difficult. So what the spiritual life trains us is to have a holy detachment from possessions. Another way to say that is that I'm in charge of my possessions versus my possessions controlling and being in charge of me. Where is my life ordered? Am I in charge of my possessions or am I ruled by them? That's what tithing and giving, that's why it's an important, essential step in holiness, because we become in charge, we become in control of our possessions and our wealth, and we use it for the kingdom of God, as well as for ourselves and for our family. There's nothing wrong with that, but it's in right order, and it's placed within the context of these steps and in the kingdom. Okay? Today we're talking about tithing and giving. Another word for that is stewardship. Am I a good steward of my household? Am I a good steward of all that I have earned and am given, and all that I'm doing in service and in charity? Tithing and giving is an important step. It's important for all of us. It trains us to be good stewards and in control of our possessions. There are essentially three levels of like it says, we could fall into 3 levels or categories of givers in terms of stewardship, tithing, giving. So I want to hit on these three levels and explain what would be the next step if you find yourself in one of these 3 categories. First category of tithing, giving that someone might find himself or herself in is this: don't really do it. Haven't really done it much. Maybe you're a young person or young adult, and mom and dad's always done it. So you've never really done it before. Or you just never really done it. It's just not your thing. You find yourself very financially strapped and you find it extremely difficult. I get it. If that's you, then what's the next step? The next step would be to pray about that. Just to pray. Spend some time with God around that. God, what do you want me to know? What's my place in all of this? What's my role in the building of the kingdom of God? How am I in my relationship with my possessions? So I would say pray about it. Honestly, just pray. Where am I? Where am I with that? Where am I in my relationship with my own goods and possessions? Am I in a healthy place with that? And that could lead to something else I would recommend to people in this group, and that is to have a good, solid understanding of your own household and your own possessions and your own financial well-being. I highly recommend to people a wonderful financial course called Financial Peace University. You might have heard of it, Financial Peace University. All that is am I in control of my finances? Do I even know how much money I spend a month? Have I ever balanced my checkbook? Do I have any idea income and outflow every week, month to month? You should. I think good Christians should have a good understanding of how we're doing with where our money goes, no? I think Jesus appreciates those who have control and are understanding what's happening within their home. So I could recommend that. It might be a good thing for some people. I went through that course and it changed my life. Oh my gosh, I didn't realize how I was not using and not really managing money well. It's very easy. Money can manage us instead of us managing money. And I'm not the best at it, and I have to work at this one a lot. So that might be something for you, is just God might want you to get control of your own household in a better way. And then 3 on that, so pray about it, maybe look at manage your own money better, and then look for opportunities in small ways where you might be able to begin to look beyond yourself and support something beyond you. Because in the end, tithing and giving is all rooted in love. Love is about choosing the greatest good for the other. Love is selfless, it's giving. So I have to be able to show that I'm giving on some level. So we've talked about ministry, we're giving in service, we're giving in prayer, and now we're going to give from our financial well-being. The second category that we can fall or be a part of is people who give charitably, tithe, donate, more or less, on occasion. On occasion. We do it semi-regularly. When things come up, oh yeah, I'll give to that. But it's not a super strict part of our life. But we do it semi-regularly. What would be the next step? The next step, if that's you, I would say pray about it. Just pray about that. Lord, what do you want me to know about this? What's my role in all this? How's my relationship with possessions in my life? And I would also encourage you to look at, are you settled? Are you aware of the finances in your house? Do you have control of it? Is it in order? A house in order is a good thing. I would also recommend make it more of a priority. Make it more of a priority. Include it in your budget. What that does is it says, this is a priority for me. I am intentional. I am placing this above other things. Do you remember from the first step when we did an evaluation of our life, and I talked about how we all have, our life is like a plate, and our plates are all full. None of us have spare time. We all are really busy, and if I'm going to include more God in my life, I'm going to have to remove something from that plate. I can't just add more God in. I have to remove something or shrink something down. It's the same thing. Money doesn't grow on trees, as Mom said. So if I am going to increase my charity, something might have to decrease over here because most of us aren't using dollar bills to put in a fireplace to heat the house. So it causes me to evaluate my life. Am I willing to make this a priority over this? Those are healthy questions to ask. And that's why these people become saints, is because they ask those kinds of questions. They engage in that kind of dialogue with God, with their families, and with self. That's healthy to do. I'm not saying you have to stop all of your spending and give everything. No. It's just about engaging in that conversation. It's just taking a step in that direction. And these steps, by the way, are lifelong steps. These steps, next week is step 6. It's not like 2 weeks from now we're all going to be saints. Bing! No, these are steps that we constantly take, that we're constantly engaged in for the rest of our lives. And if we follow them, it will change our lives. The third category we could fall in are those who are very, very faithful to giving, very, very charitable to donating and tithing. What's the next step for you? First of all, good job, thumbs up. Thumbs up if that's where you are. The next step, I would say, pray about it. Just pray. See, prayer is at the heart of all things that we do. When I'm going to make decisions around the things that affect my life, I want to pray about that. Lord, what do you want me to know about this? Where am I at in that? Another thing I would ask to you for you, if you're a regular tither, you're committed to it, is my tithing given out of my excess or is it sacrificial? It's a tough question. Do I only give out of my excess or do I give sacrificially? That's a profound question I always want you to think about. The kingdom of God is built upon this idea of offering and sacrifice. I preached on it before. I'm not going to do it today because I'm already getting long-winded, okay? But sacrifice is at the heart of what we do. Think about the teachings of Jesus. It's when we forgive that we're forgiven. It's when we give that we receive. There's a lot of paradox and things that can run countercultural to a consumer society that I'm called to let go in order to receive. Wow, that's tough. And so it really, the rubber meets the road oftentimes when we do it in a sacrificial way. I don't have time for you, but I'm going to give you time, and somehow this blessing comes to my life. That's kind of how it works. So, is your giving sacrificial? Pray about that. So those are some steps. There's information in the bulletin. There are some sheets in the back. If you just want to ponder this, I'm not asking anybody to make any significant commitments today, just to think about these things. These are steps that we're all being invited into, and I'm inviting you to take the next step, whatever it may be. For some of us, that next step might be just thinking, I'm not a very generous person. Some of us really struggle with that. I can remember when I first went to college, living in the dorms. You remember that? You learn very quickly who will share and who won't. We learn very quickly who's willing to share and who won't. I'm not saying that in judgment. It's just the reality. We have lots of different personality styles and traits. If I struggle with being able to share, then I need to look at that. If I'm just overly frivolous and I'm just giving and I need to look at that too because I need to be able to manage myself better. It's things like that that make us virtuous, integrous, put together, solid people, which is what the church and the world needs. That's step 5. Next week, we'll gather back for step 6. One more step in becoming a holy, virtuous, saintly person.